Well, I need to build a new chicken pen. That barn over there is great, but it's not portable. And I need to build me a new chicken pen. Here's how it's going to go. Alrighty, here's some materials. I go over here to the junk pile. I don't believe in spending money on this sort of thing, so I go over here to the junk pile. I'm going to use these 3 2x3s right here. I get this stuff out of some old pallets. I'm going to use those. I'm going to use this wire here. This is some 2" by 4" fence wire. It's fairly heavy duty. I think it's designed for horses. It's some leftover rolls off of some stuff from last summer, so some fencing projects. And then this is the side of a rabbit cage, I believe. Anyway, just some scraps of fencing. I'm going to put this thing together pretty quick. I'm not going to spend any money on it. Let me show you how I do it. Okay, I built this project out of hot tub pallet lumber. I get these 2x3s, 8 foot long, from these hot tub pallets, and I've never had a hot tub manufacturer fail to give me them. I just show up and I see them stacked in the yard. Usually they're 8 foot by 8 foot pallets. I say, hey, can you give me some? They are a source of incredible wealth. Each one is worth about, I'd say, $20 worth of building materials. So that's pretty cool. I grab them whenever I see them. So you can see I've made a square frame here out of 2 long pieces and a diagonal piece, all 8 foot long, and some cross pieces at 48 inches. That's really about the only lumber you have to cut for this project. Then I took some 48-inch wide 4 by 8 inch, or 2 by 4 inch holes. Let me try that again. I took some fence wire that is 48 inch tall. It has 2 by 4 inch wire holes in it, and it's used as horse fencing, like as a no climb horse fence. And it's really strong, pretty sturdy stuff. So I nailed it down on the sides using some fence staples left over from another project. And is that a chicken in the background? I think that's my other dog in the background. Anyway, so yeah, so I wired the 2 panels together, the 2 pieces of wire together. On a lot of larger chicken coops, they will use cattle panels, but I find for a 4 foot wide coop, this woven wire fencing actually does pretty well. Works pretty good. I built the coop at 4 by 8 feet so that a child could move it around. I have a daughter. I want to have her do some of the chores with this coop, so she needs to be able to move it around. It's not too heavy. Also, 4 by 8 feet means that it can fit up against my trees. I have small trees in the orchard, and it can fit through the gate. I can get it down into the garden. I can have the chickens working in the garden during garden season. I can move it around among the garden rows, and so that's kind of cool. That's one of my intentions, to use this. Here you can see me cutting the ends and twisting the wires around. There's a little better shot here. Twisting the wires around the end panel around the side panels, and so that's actually probably took half the time on this project, was just twisting those wires together on both ends and along the where the 2 pieces of wire meet, the 2 pieces of wire fence in the middle where they meet. I had to use wire to twist those together as well. That was probably half the labor of this project. So get comfortable with your pliers, because you're going to use them a lot on this one. Adding the wire panel across the ends really stiffened it up. I was actually surprised how much stiffer the end became. You'll see a shot here in a second. Yeah, I was surprised how much stiffer that the end became. This end doesn't have an end, and it's rather loose and floppy. This end, pretty sturdy. I don't think one of my goats could jump up on top of it. I think she would collapse it, but I think it's going to do all right. Here I've added a door. This is actually the next morning. It was getting dark, so I had to cease production of this video. But the next morning I added a door, and I got ready to put a tarp on. And these tarps are actually pretty useful. I get these, if you couldn't already tell from the name Weyerhaeuser Lumber on them. These are lumber tarps, and I find these at my local building center. Now, Home Depot will not give you their free tarps, what I've noticed. But my local Ace Hardware type building supply store, they've got a dumpster out back that says free tarps on it. And that's pretty cool, because I love anything that's free. So I get these. I use them for all kinds of stuff. I use them for, obviously covering an animal shelter, but I also use them for dragging mulch and leaves around the yard. It's so much easier. Oh yeah, you gotta make sure that your staple gun's filled with staples before you begin a project. So I use them for dragging mulch and leaves around. It's so much easier than putting things into a wheelbarrow and moving them. You just rake it onto the tarp and drag it. So much easier. I've used them for weed barriers, and then plant things on top or cover them with mulch. And they aren't real durable tarps, but you know what? The price is definitely right. So I stapled both edges down real tight, and eventually I decided that what I really needed to do is add a piece of lumber across the side here. So I added a piece of 1x4 inch lumber. You can see it in the next scene. I added a piece of, here I am, added a piece of 1x4 lumber across the edge and then nailed that in with 3-inch nails to hold the tarp much more tighter down at the bottom. Eventually, once I had installed this, and once I put chickens out in the tractor, then I realized an even better way to do this is to cut a little hole on both ends, at the ground level on both ends of the tarp, and feed a piece of string through it. So I used a piece of baling twine, and that allows you to really cinch down the edge of the tarp real good. Okay, so here it is. A little over 2 hours is what it took me. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot chicken tractor with a nest box. Here we've got a nest box down here. Easy to get to under the covered end. Easy to collect eggs every day. Feeder right here by the door. Easy to fill. Also covered by the tarp. That's really important. Half the chicken tractor's covered up by a tarp. Keeps the chickens out of the rain. A little bit of wind protection on the sides. I find chickens don't need that much protection, and this is a summer shelter anyway. It's got a roost across the middle. No, it's not a very tall roost, but it is a roost nonetheless. Got a bucket waterer. Uses a nipples on the bottom, chicken nipples, and you can fill it from this hole right here using a hose or a watering can. Those are what I usually use. If you're going to build one of these, be sure to run the wire all the way down to the ground right on this end. That's important. And it's great. The whole thing weighs maybe 100 pounds. How many chickens can I put in here? Oh, this would be fine for a backyard coop of 6 or 8. I'm going to use this in my orchard, because I can run it right along next to the little trees. I got a young orchard with some trees in it. The front door here is real simple. It's got a hook that holds it. And then when it's time to hook it, you just come in here and you got a hook there, another one right there, and another one right there. I'm not super happy about that, but I didn't want to spend any money on it. And I think it'll be fine. It's not too much room to get up in there. That's something I can always upgrade if I need to. So anyway, a chicken tractor that didn't cost any money and didn't take that long to build. Pretty cool.